What will Leny Yoro bring to Manchester United? This is the full guide to what type of player he is, how he's going to fit in at Manchester United, what's in store for him in the future, and everything else that follows it. So make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to Real Reds Talk, and let's dive into this together. So if you've probably seen from extensive coverage on our channel, I mean, we've done about 3 or 4 shows on him at this point, Manchester United have officially signed the French defender from Lille, Leny Yoro. But what can fans expect from this highly rated talent, who we have hijacked, by the way, right under Real Madrid's nose? Us, Manchester United, have done that out of all clubs. How crazy. Now, we're all aware that United have made the centre-back a #1 priority. There's no getting away from it. It's not the midfield. It's not a striker, although we did bring in Joshua Zirkzee first. It is the defence. That's needed bolstering for a long, long time, especially with Rafael Varane going and the problems we had in there all season. It's a priority, and I think everyone would agree that that's absolutely fine. So this was someone who, even at the start of the window, we wasn't even necessarily strongly linked with, or any links that got put out there just swiftly got kind of slapped back in your face, because it's like, we're not going to, if Madrid want this player, we are not going to get him. So obviously we had been working prior on this with deals with Jared Brandtway and Matthias de Ligt and these kind of centre-backs. So no one really anticipated this kind of deal being done. But this is a new regime, it is a new era, it is a new, a new future for the club, and it's exciting. And with Leny Yoro completing his signing, plus his medical, that now marks the second summer signing of Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos's first official transfer window, and he's going to follow the footsteps, very dry throat. You know what? You guys don't care, do you? Capri Sun to keep the throat going. He'll follow in the footsteps of Joshua Zirkzee, and I believe there's plenty of reasons why the fans should be excited about the players that we've already got through the door, plus the ones that are on the way. So who is Leny Yoro, you ask? Who is he? Never heard of the guy, never watched him. I don't watch Lille. Of course you don't. No one expects you to. Completely understandable. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on how he's got to the point where he is now, and then we're going to discuss what type of player he is and how he's going to fit in United's system, and then a couple of exciting bits towards the end as well. So, good old Leny joined Lille's youth system in 2017, making his first team debut in May 2022, becoming the second youngest player in the league's history to do so, and passing former Lille Academy graduate Eden Hazard in the process. Pretty impressive, if I do say so myself. Now, the centre-back went on to make 13 appearances the following season, having impressed the new manager at the time, Paolo Francesco, in pre-season. He liked what he saw. He thought, I'm having a bit of that. Last season, however, saw Leny Yoro transform into a crucial cog in Lille's defensive unit, starting the joint most games of any outfield player as Francesca's side qualified for the Champions League. And you think about the French League as well, which a lot of people seem to forget. They talk about the transition to the Premier League and how physical it is. The French League is one of the most physical leagues on the planet. It don't get much tougher than that, especially for a young centre-back. So you talk about impressive, and you talk about green flags rather than red flags. They keep popping up everywhere with this player. Very impressive. And the fact that he's holding his own in this league, again, it's another kind of feather in his cap. And these kind of performances got him noticed globally around Europe. He's been scouted by a number of top clubs, including ourselves, of course, who we've got him in the bag now. But Real Madrid also were interested. Liverpool were also interested. PSG, interest there. So, massive clubs with huge interest, and for good reason. And he also earned himself a call up to Thierry Henry's France squad for the Paris Olympics. Now, I'm not sure. I don't think he's going to this one this year, from what I've read anyway. I certainly hope not, because that would put kind of a fork in the road. But yeah, I don't think he is. I mean, I'll double check that. But yeah, I think he shouldn't be fit, ready to go for the start of the season, and he should be available for pre-season, because he's been doing pre-season with Lille. So yeah, he can come straight through. No problem with that. But the question the question you guys might want to know is, why do United want to sign this kid? So, despite his age and youthful appearance, Yoro's calmness, maturity is way beyond his years as a player. And them kind of qualities that you see in a player is what stands out from the majority. You get these talented players coming through, but when they have such like Kobe, for example, perfect example. How young is this kid? And he's like a duck to water. Nothing phases him whatsoever. And I would put Yoro in a similar category. And the majority of people would say Mainoo's probably worth, what, 90, £100 million? I think Yoro is the Mainu of, not in terms of play style, obviously, but in terms of reputation and how good they could be. I think he's in a similar category. Maybe one below, maybe the same. I don't know. But just listen to this direct quote from the manager. It tells you everything you need to know. For me, and this is Francesco, for me, players don't have age if they have talent. In some cases, like with Leny, it was so easy to understand that he would be important to the team. In all my years of a coach, I've never seen such a young player with so much maturity. He's so much class, so much elegance. He's a beautiful player. We're going to have Mainu as well as him, and then Garnacho and Højlund and Ahmad and all these exciting young talents. Yes, exciting, right? But look, you look at even his... For a centre-back, when you're doing like kind of a tick list, you want certain things, certain traits. So he's obviously physically imposing, 6'3", very gangly in that sense. He's got a great turn of pace, natural physical advantages to help him step up out of defence, make interceptions, or track opposition attackers before kind of engaging in a duel. He's undoubtedly class on the ball. Now, he's not the type of one who's going to make these kind of line-breaking passes like Alessandro Martinez, but he's solid on the ball. He's comfortable. He can take it under pressure. That's what he's really, really good at. And I'll get into his stats in a moment. But there may be some concerns about Yoro and his physicality and his frame not fully bulking out yet. Let me put them concerns to bed. So, boasting the best aerial duel success rate of any Lille player last season, 67.86%. What's exciting is he's technically proficient as well. You look at his pass success rate, 92.2 last season. You know, right up there with some of the best. But he ranks a little bit lower in terms of defence, splitting progressive passes, like what Lissandro would do. But we have him on the left side, so it's not too much to worry about. Now, naturally, when we sign a new player, not just United, when any club signs a new player, everyone wants to know, who is this player like? What's his comparison? Who does he, is it the next Mbappe? Is it the next Messi? And honestly, the comparisons that have been made with Leny Yoro, Saliba, a lot of similar comparisons, partly due to his nationality, of course, but he's got a very similar long frame to Saliba. His defensive style perhaps more kind of resembles a Virgil van Dijk, I would suggest. Kind of reading the game really well. High success rate when choosing to intervene, Very good aerially, as I alluded to before. This is all music to our ears, right? Now, I know what you're thinking. How would he suit Erik ten Hag's style of play? How's he fitting in our system? That's what we want to know. Not how he fit in Lille's. No one gives a shit about that. We're United fans, essentially, right? So how does he fit with us? Now, normally, he would line up on the right-hand side of Leo's defence. So, again, check. Perfect. He'd probably fit in a similar role with us. With Maguire and Martinez both having injury issues, especially last season, the right side is ready for him to step up and be a permanent figure there. We know our defence last season was absolutely fucking horrendous. And when we tried to move away from this counter-attacking style to a higher defensive line, and we was mixing it up constantly, it was a mess, wasn't it? We had Johnny Evans and fucking whoever it was alongside him. The defence would be right in the 18-yard box. We'd have the attackers trying to press individually, and then the midfield was just a complete mess. So bringing, stylistically, someone like a Yoro and having Lissandro in there as well, you can push right up the pitch. We saw it with Varane. When Varane came into the team, we played a different way. And having him there permanently, you can sustain that style then, and the press can become a lot more collective, or at least you'd like to hope so. Now, as always with players, there's always that kind of asterisk next to him saying they are young, they do require a little bit of time, increased physicality of the Premier League. Even though I mentioned the French League is one of the toughest ones, but people will still throw that in your face like a hot pie. I believe the partnership with Yoro and Martinez in particular together could be an incredible one, could really, really flourish. Yoro needs to bulk up a little bit. Like I said, he's a bit gangly. You might have some of these experienced seasoned strikers in the Premier League, give him a bit of a shoulder. Your Glenn Murrays, them type of ones who just, and he'll learn from that. He'll be coming up against much tough competition in the Premier League. We all know that. But yeah, I'd imagine United anyway will probably manage Yoro's minutes. They're not going to fire him right into the throwing line, especially if they bring in someone like a Matthias de Ligt or a Jared Brandtwaite or someone like that. But that's what confuses me, and that's what piques my interest, because I'm thinking, well, how are we going to sign one of them two as well? How's that going to work? What project have they sold to Leny Yoro? What have they said? You're going to be our starting centre-back? Or, look, you're going to get 20 to 30 games, but we have a vision for you to then, initially proper integrate into the squad, and you'll be our proper starting centre-back. So then Yoro could say, well, why are you signing de Ligt then? Because de Ligt's going to want a game time. That's the whole reason why he's leaving Bayern Munich. So I don't know how they're going to manage that. Maybe it will be just a case of Yoro's accepted that 20 to 30 games. Yep, that's fine. see how we move on, see how we progress. And if you start getting better and better, you're going to force your way in there anyway. Maybe it is something along the lines of that. I mean, I doubt they will. I mean, I've seen some suggestions that they'll loan him, but I can't see that happening at all. But look, the centre-back situation has needed addressing immediately. Simple as that. Rafael Varane, his injury record, the fact he's gone now, the record of Maguire and Martinez, like I touched on before, the age of Johnny Evans, it would at least appear that Yoro's going to start the season as our centre-back, depending on what happens with the other deals. And I don't know about you guys, Lisandro and Yoro, Leny and Leacher, you can already see it, you can nicknames in the end, Leny and Leacher, you know? And he'll have his own chance, sure. I mean, I was trying to think of one before, but I was like, Yoro, Leny Yoro. But that's a very simple one. Yoro, Yoro. I mean, you guys are smart. You could probably come up with one. I'll spend a little bit more time on that one. But it leads into the last question that I'm going to leave for you guys. Who would you go for right now? Yoro's through the door. That's the first centre-back done, dusted. Do you go for Jared Branthwaite or do you go for Matthias de Ligt? And why? Why would you go for him? You look at the logically, that would dictate we go for Branthwaite. He's a left-footed centre-back. You can have Leacher, Branthwaite, Yoro, Maguire. Branthwaite can also play on the right-hand side as well because he's kind of not ambidextrous. I can't remember. Ambipedal, I think it is. He's both-footed, so he's very comfortable there. But then how do you sell it to Branthwaite? You're going to be not bit part, but I don't know. It's a mind fuck, innit? It's an absolute mind fuck. So who would you personally go for? Let us know in the comments section. And what do you think about Ineos's first two deals through the door? Joshua Zirkzee and Leny Yoro. Are you excited? Who else are we going to bring through the door? Let us know in the comments section. Let me know if you've enjoyed this video. Subscribe to Real Reds Talk, and I will see you guys in the next one. See you in a bit.